Hi band students, I wanted to make you a video to do a quick overview on how to use SmartMusic. So if you get stuck at home or you forget one of these tools, you have access to it. So if you're an iPad user, you're going to be opening up Safari on your iPad. And in Safari, you're going to type in home.smartmusic.com. Now, if you're using a home computer, you cannot use Safari on computers for SmartMusic. You would need to go to Chrome and then you'd type in the same thing, home.smartmusic.com. And when you log in, you'll come to a login page. My computer's already logged in, so it comes right open to my page. Now, when you get to your home page, if something like this happens, where it says, oh no, your screen is too small, if you're on your computer, it just means you need to make your window bigger. On your iPad, if you run into that same issue, it just means you need to turn your iPad so it's in landscape. Or just turn your iPad the other way and it'll show up just fine. So on our screen, we see our assignments right here. We have two assignments, number 6 and number 5. It shows our due date, and then we have a start button so we can access. So assignments that have not been completed will show up here. If your assignment shows up in orange, it might just mean I reassigned it. It might mean you worked on your assignment, but I think you can work on it a little bit more to make it better and redo it. Or if your assignment shows up in red right here, that might just mean that you have an overdue assignment. And when you complete an assignment, it goes down here into recently graded. So let's take a look at number 6. I'm going to click Start. And there are a lot of instruments to select from. So we're going to go over these because it can be a little bit tricky at first. So if you're a euphonium player, euphonium and baritone are very similar instruments in SmartMusic. Sometimes they call you baritone, sometimes they call you euphonium. So if you're a euphonium player, you're going to click on baritone BC. BC stands for bass clef. So that's for our euphonium players. If you're a clarinet player, you'll be clicking on B flat clarinet. So we don't want to click on any of the other clarinets, just B flat. And I know it looks like a lowercase b, but that's a flat sign. So B flat clarinet. If you're a trumpet, you're clicking on B flat trumpet. If you're an alto saxophone player, you're clicking on E flat alto saxophone. So we want to make sure we get the right saxophone. If you're a flute player, super easy. You just click on flute. If you're a percussionist, you want to make sure you're clicking on the mallet percussion option. There are a couple other percussion options. We'll use some of those later on in the year, but in this fall, the beginning of this winter, we'll be using mallet percussion. And finally, if you're a trombone player, make sure you click the first trombone option. Trombone TC is not yours, so just regular trombone. So I have my flute in front of me, so I'm going to go ahead and select flute. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to take me right to that assignment. So on the screen, I see instructions for my assignment, and these will probably be different for every assignment you have. This one says try to get 75% or higher on my assignment, showing me it's out of 100 points. I'm going to go ahead and press close. And right here on the screen, I see my assignment number 6. So there's a few different options we can do. But before we get started with SmartMusic, there's a very important step, and that is plugging in headphones to your iPad or to your laptop. SmartMusic can do really great things, but sometimes it has trouble hearing the difference between your instrument playing and the background music of the accompaniment. So to combat that, we use plug-in headphones, not Bluetooth because there's a bit of a delay. Plug-in headphones to your iPad or to your computer, because with the accompaniment, which sounds really cool, I'll play you some right now. Here's our accompaniment. So it makes it more fun, but sometimes SmartMusic can't tell the difference, say, between my flute playing and that. So if we have headphones plugged in, you can hear that amazing accompaniment in your ear, but SmartMusic only hears your instrument playing. So to make this video, I can't have my headphones plugged in, so to combat that for myself, I'm going to turn down the accompaniment volume. There I go. All right, so we've got a few different features on SmartMusic. One that's really cool is if you click on a note, you get 2 little dots. The dots on the left show you the name of the note and show you the fingering or slide position if you're a trombone player, or placement on your bell set if you're a percussionist. So it actually shows you that, which is really neat. The dot on the right actually plays you the note. And that's especially helpful for our trumpet, trombone, and euphonium players because it's really easy to play a note too high or too low. So then you've got it in your ear and you know which one you are starting with. So again, you click on a note. On the left, you can do the fingering. On the right, it will play the pitch. What's also cool is you can move your cursor around. You don't need to start the song at the top, at the very beginning of the song. Let's say the first measure is fine, but you're having trouble with this note right here. You can move your cursor over and just work on the spots that you need to, which is really nice. So there's another feature which is really cool is the My Part feature. Now for your My Part feature, if I turn that on, that's going to play my own instrument's part for me. But when I turn it off, you guys notice this red exclamation mark? That means you can't submit a take that way. We'll talk about takes in a little bit. You can't submit an assignment that way, but you can still practice that way. And what's really cool is if I go ahead and press that, I'm going to press play with my part on and listen. It actually is playing what my part sounds like. So then I can practice my fingerings or my slide positions along with the song, get it under my fingers and in my ear before I go to play it. So again, you can't submit an assignment that way, but it's a really good way to practice to make sure you're doing your fingers right, you've got it in your ears right, especially for our brass players. So that's the My Part feature. So I'm going to go ahead, since I have this red exclamation mark and I practiced with it, I'm going to turn that off. Some other things, you can turn up or down the volume of your metronome. It should be on somewhat, but you can turn down the volume if you want it to be softer. Over here, we have our tempo. So our tempo, this is your metronome. It's set to 80. For this assignment, I had it set so you couldn't go any faster or any slower. So if you see when I increase it or I lower the tempo, it turns it into red. But again, you can still practice with it lower. Let's say I wanted to practice it with that way. I can still press the green button. It'll let me practice at a slower speed. I just can't turn it in as an assignment at that speed. So that's our metronome, and that can be a helpful feature as well. All right, so what we are going to go ahead and do is we're going to try an assignment. So let's say I've practiced the song. I feel really confident in my notes. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press the red button because I'm ready to record. And in this situation, I'd have my microphone plugged in. I'm sorry, my headphones plugged in. I click the red button and it says, it's asking what type of microphone. We want to make sure it's always on melodic. The percussive one we do not want to use. Even percussionists right now, there will be a time percussionists use that, but right now everyone is using melodic through microphone. I'm going to select that mode. This crazy lady who has no nose shows up on your screen and she's going to test your microphone. Now it says unplug your headphones. So for your mic check, the first time you open a song, you're going to have to do a mic check. You'll have to unplug your headphones for that and then plug back in afterwards, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but it's okay. So we're going to unplug our microphone, our headphones, and we're going to test our microphone. The lady with no nose, she heard it, so I am ready to start. And then before I press start, I'm going to plug my headphones back in so SmartMusic picks me up correctly. So you have to unplug your headphones for the mic check and then plug them back in. So I'm ready to press start. SmartMusic's going to count me off. And I'm going to try playing. Alright, so let's see how I did on this first take. Let's say I went through and practiced it. The notes that are in green, those mean that I played those notes correctly. Now if we look over here, I have a note in red. And that note in red is showing that I played a different note. I played a wrong note. So what might be helpful for me is to click on that fingering and double check that I actually know what that note is. So red is telling you you're doing something wrong. I played the wrong note there. And then if we look over in this measure, I have this little orangey yellow dot. And it's showing up on the right space on the staff for the note, but it's showing up after it. So that just means I played the right note, but I just played it a little late. So then I need to try it again. So I can see up here, this was my take I just did. I got 75% right. We're going to try it one more time. So I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to press the record button again. And let's see how I do this time. All right, So I did better. I got this note correct, and then it shows this one as yellow, and I think it might have actually picked up my accompaniment in the background. I didn't play that note at all. That note didn't come out. So I'm going to try it one more time. Press the record button, which is the red one. So when you're ready to take a take, you always want to press the red button. But remember, if you are having trouble, let's say I was having trouble with these two measures, I could move my cursor there and I could press the green button and practice those, or I could still press the red button. It just wouldn't be a completed take, but it would help me work on that section. So I'm going to try to do it one more time. So let's say I was happy with that take. I took a look at it. I thought it sounded great. I can press this button right here and it'll play it back for me. So you can go back and listen to yourself. Let's say I'm ready. I'm going to go up here in my takes. I'm happy with this one. And I'm not done yet because the only way that it gets sent to me, to Mrs. Ramsey, is if you press the submit button. And when you press submit button, it sends me not only the screenshot of what I'm seeing here, but it also sends me a recording. So when you get something you're happy with, you're not done. You have to press submit. And let's say most of the time you're not going to need to do a comment, but let's say you worked on an assignment a lot. You worked on an assignment over several days and you weren't doing as well as you thought. You can say, Mrs. Ramsey, I had trouble with this assignment. What am I doing wrong? Now, when we are working on assignments, we want to make sure working over several days. It's going to take some time to get good at things. It's not going to happen the first time you practice it. That's your body and your muscles and your brain all need time to absorb the information to get that muscle memory. So if you're having trouble with assignment, if you're telling me that in a comment, it means you should have been practicing that on a few different days before you're trying to submit it. But let's say you worked on it really hard over several days, you aren't getting the score you liked, that's okay. Go ahead and submit. It lets me know that you're having trouble so I can help you. So I'm going to go ahead and submit it. It's submitting my audio recording. Then it's uploading. It's going to upload the picture as well. There it goes. It's a little slow. And it's submitted. And now when I go back to my home page, if I click this little home button, that assignment shows up down here in recently graded assignments, and then I still have this one to do. Now, something else that's kind of cool on your SmartMusic, if you scroll down to the bottom of your screen, if you scroll down to right here where it says My Method Books, you actually have access to your entire SmartMusic, your entire red book on SmartMusic. So the only way I can submit my assignments is here. I have to click it from the assignment list. But let's say I was practicing ahead in my book. I could already play, I'm going to switch again to flute. Let's say I could already play, even though we were in number 5, I was already good at number 9, and when I want to work on that on my own, I can't submit it as an assignment, but I can practice on SmartMusic with it and work on that song on my own. Let's say I felt really good about number 9, I can move on to number 10. So you actually have access to the entire book. So remember, practicing is a process. Perfection doesn't come right away. It takes time. It takes multiple sessions. And if you're having trouble, all you need to do is let me know and we can work together. So that's just a little rundown of how SmartMusic works. You're going to click those from the assignment list and then you're going to work on them. And it's probably going to take a few sessions for you to get better, to make sure you have the right notes and you're playing them at the right time. Happy practicing. Bye, guys.